You know social media is bad for you. It wastes your time, wrecks your focus, and often leaves you feeling worse than when you opened the app. But the companies behind it? They're making more money than ever. Here's the paradox. The model feels broken for users and society, yet it's a cash machine for shareholders and advertisers. In this video, you'll see why that model still works, the hidden economic engines behind it, and, most important, how to borrow the business logic without copying the harm. And there's one moat idea near the end that explains why even weak models survive. 1. Why the attention economy is structurally broken. Let's start with what social media actually sells, because it's not connection and it's not content. Social platforms sell slices of your attention to advertisers. That's the core of the attention economy. Your time, your eyeballs, and your clicks become inventory. That sounds simple, but it creates a very specific incentive. Platforms don't get paid more for making you smarter, calmer, or happier. They get paid more for making you stay longer, scroll further, and react more intensely. The key metric becomes, how long can we hold you and how often can we bring you back? Once that's the game, the system gravitates toward whatever keeps you hooked, even if it's terrible for you. Now, here's where the outrage plus addiction flywheel kicks in. First, sensational content rises. Extreme opinions, emotional headlines, and shocking visuals grab attention faster than nuanced, balanced information. So algorithms quietly learn to push more of that because it performs. Second, you get endless scroll and autoplay. There's no natural stopping point. You don't choose each next piece of content. It chooses you. That removes tiny decision moments where you might have left. Third, you have variable rewards. Sometimes you open the app and there's nothing interesting. Sometimes there's a hilarious video, a viral post about you, or a dramatic update from someone you know. That unpredictability is the same mechanic slot machines use. Fourth, notification loops. Likes, comments, tags, mentions, every little red icon is a pullback into the app, framed as someone cared about you but optimized to keep you inside the system. Stack all that together, and you get a powerful behavioral loop. Outrage to hook you, infinite content to hold you, and notifications to bring you back. The thing most people miss is that this isn't a side effect. It's an emergent property of the business model. The costs for users are obvious once you step back. Burnout, constant distraction, fragmented attention. Over time, trust drops because you're never sure what's true, and everything feels more polarized than it probably is in your offline life. But there are real costs for platforms too. They have to moderate a tidal wave of content, fight spam, manage abuse, and respond to political pressure and regulation. Every scandal, misinformation, data leaks, harmful challenges damages their reputation with users, advertisers, and governments. Advertisers get nervous about brand safety. They don't want their ad next to a conspiracy video or something offensive, which raises their demands and the platform's compliance costs. On top of that, the system is unstable. Algorithm changes can wipe out whole creator categories or business models overnight. A policy tweak, a new content format, or a crackdown on certain behaviors can shift attention flows in days. By normal business logic, a model with this much friction, backlash, and volatility shouldn't be stable. It feels like a train that should eventually derail. Yet, it doesn't. The revenues keep coming. Which brings us to the deeper question: if the surface is this broken, what exactly is holding everything together? 2. Why this broken model still prints money. Here's the shift you need to make. The profit isn't coming from how healthy or elegant the model is. It's coming from scale and lock-in. First, network effects. A network effect means every new user makes the product more valuable for all existing users. With social media, each friend who joins adds more content, more interactions, more reasons to stay. As the network grows, leaving gets harder because everyone you know is already there. Think about your own social graph. Your friends, your family group chats, your professional contacts, the communities you follow, they're not spread evenly across hundreds of platforms. They're concentrated in a few big ones. So even if you dislike the experience, you stay because the people you care about haven't moved. That same network effect applies to advertisers. If all the users are gathered on a few platforms, those platforms become the only places where advertisers can get massive reach and detailed targeting in one shot. The value of showing an ad there increases as more people join, which lets the platform charge more. Then you have data moats. Over years, these companies accumulate incredibly granular behavior data. What you click, how long you watch, what you skip, when you open the app, what devices you use, which topics you interact with, and patterns across billions of people. The reason this matters is simple. Better data makes better ad targeting and better content recommendations. If I know with high confidence who is likely to respond to a certain message, I can deliver better results for advertisers. And if I know what content keeps you engaged, I can fine-tune your feed to hold you longer. A new competitor can copy the interface. It can copy features. But it can't quickly recreate 10 years of detailed behavior data tied to rich social graphs across billions of users. That historical data is a protective wall. Now, from the advertiser's side, ask, why do they stay, even when they complain about prices or brand safety? Because there's nowhere else that combines three things at that scale: reach, targeting, and tracking. Reach means you can hit a huge slice of your target market inside a single platform. Targeting means you can narrow that reach to people who are more likely to care. Tracking means you can measure what happens after the ad: clicks, signups, purchases, app installs. Traditional channels like TV or print give reach but weak targeting and weaker tracking. Smaller platforms might offer good targeting, but not the same scale. Social giants bundle all three, and that bundle is hard to replicate. This is where you get what you might call a monopoly tax. Businesses accept rising ad costs, cluttered feeds, and ethical concerns because there's no other channel that delivers similar impact with comparable convenience. They're paying for access to an audience that can't easily be reached in the same way elsewhere. There's a common belief that competition will naturally solve this. A new app will show up and everyone will move. In reality, new apps can grow fast, but copying a full social graph plus years of data history is almost impossible. Users also face real switching costs. If you move, you lose your follower base, your history, your messages, your content archive, and part of your identity that's tied to that platform. For brands, leaving means losing established audiences, pixel data, ad account history, and optimization learnings. Even when regulators step in, fines, hearings, new privacy rules, the core economics don't vanish. Compliance might slow them down or force interface changes, but the underlying moats remain. The network, the data, the habits. So on the surface, you see outrage cycles, burnout, PR disasters, and social media is dying headlines. Underneath, you have deep structural advantages that keep the profit engine running. The key takeaway here is that the model is fragile at the edges but protected at the core. It works not because it's good for people, but because it's hard to replace. Once you see that distinction, you can start asking a better question. Instead of chasing perfect products, how do you build similar moats, ethically, around whatever value you offer? 3. The real lesson: build moats, not perfect models. So what do you do with this? Because the point isn't copy social media. The point is, you don't need a flawless product or business model if your moat is strong enough. A moat is simple. It's whatever makes your business hard to copy or replace, even when someone wants to. It's the set of reasons your customers stay, competitors struggle, and alternatives feel risky. There are a few approachable types you can use. First, network effects. You don't need a billion users. A small, tight community can be a micro-network effect. Think of a paid group, a members-only circle, or a niche forum where the value comes from who else is inside, not just from you. Second, data or insight moats. At a small scale, that looks like owning your audience data, email lists, CRM records, customer notes, survey results. If you understand your people better than anyone else and you keep that insight in your own systems, you're harder to displace. Third, switching costs. These are the frictions that make staying with you the easier choice. It might be a workflow they've built around your product, integrations with other tools, templates you've designed for them, or training they've invested in. Fourth, ecosystem and standards. If other tools, partners, or creators plug into what you do, You're not just a product anymore, you're infrastructure. Even at a small scale, this can be a simple API, a shared file format, or a standardized way you run projects that others adopt. Finally, brand trust. If people believe, when I go with them, I don't have to worry, that's a moat. Consistently delivering on a clear promise, fast response, honest advice, reliable quality, makes switching feel unsafe. The thing most people miss is you don't start by inventing clever tactics. You start by asking, what is the core value I create? Then you choose one or two moat types that make that value harder to copy and design one concrete move to strengthen each. And you do this without importing social media's ethics. Don't copy addiction loops or outrage. Copy the idea of layered defenses around value, community, insight, habit, and trust, protecting something genuinely useful. If you remember nothing else, margins are temporary, moats are durable. 4. Action plan. Applying this to your business or career. Now let's turn this into a quick checklist you can actually use. Step 1. Map where your value really comes from. Is it your product quality, your specific skills, your relationships, your unique insight, or the experience you create? Step 2. List all the ways someone could copy or replace that today. Could a cheaper competitor undercut you? Could a big platform wipe you out by changing a rule? Could your clients switch to a generic alternative without much pain? Step 3. Pick one moat tactic to work on this month. Maybe it's launching a small community around your offer, starting an email list so you own your audience, documenting a proprietary process, or adding one integration that makes your product part of a workflow. This applies to your career too. You can build personal moats, rare skills, unusual skill combinations, a strong network, or a reputation for a specific result. Ask, what would make me hard to replace in my industry? Start small. One community experiment. One data ownership move. One integration or habit that deepens lock-in. You're not trying to be a social media giant. You're trying to make what you do slightly harder to copy every month. The key mindset shift is this. Don't obsess over perfect offers first. Build defensible structures around reasonably good offers, then improve from inside that protection. Conclusion. The key takeaway and CTA. Social media shows that even a harmful, fragile model can stay highly profitable when it's protected by deep moats like networks, data, and habits. Long-term power comes from becoming hard to replace, not from short-term spikes in attention. Identify one fragile point in your own model and one moat experiment you'll start this week. If you want more breakdowns of broken but powerful strategies done ethically, subscribe and watch the next video on your screen.